Welcome to the Run It Back podcast, aka The Rib, with your hosts, Cha-Cha,
Turn my mic up, son. You know he's always in the building. Yeah.
D-Lo,
Yo, what's up?
Javi,
Hello. What's up, world?
and Omega Green.
Yeah, it's green.
Get ready as we carve through the meat of life's juiciest stories. Let's get it cooking.
All right, everybody, welcome to another episode. Y'all heard the intro. This is the Rib, the Run It Back podcast. You know how we do it. Hobby, how you feeling today, man?
I'm feeling good. I feel really good. My week wasn't awful. Wasn't great, but it wasn't awful. Work's going good. Home life's going good. I let Rue stay out the last 2 days while I was at work. She did really good.
All right. Yeah, I know our dogs. I can't do that, man.
Yeah, she ain't did nothing. But chill.
They some hellraisers.
She sits on the couch and waits for me to get home. She listens to her music and sleeps.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you, Cha-Cha? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm gonna be honest. I was sitting at work today and I was like, you know what? I need to take a wellness day. I really need to take a day. I'm feeling kind of burned out from work. Not like, but I'm feeling good. I'm feeling really good, but I think it's close time for me to. I've been trying to hang in there because my job is sending me to New Orleans in November, but now I'm like, dang, it's still a month away. So, and a lot of my coworkers have been taking off these last few weeks, couple of weeks, and like my supervisor's gonna be off all next week, and so she's forwarding a telephone line to me that normally gets forwarded to her when like one of the clerks is out. So the clerk has been relocated to another location. So and it's so funny. I was thinking about taking a day off or two next week, but she reached out to me and was like, "Do you mind if I transfer this line to you?" And so,
Superman's always in the building.
He's always in the building. So, I'm feeling okay, but I feel the burnout. I do feel it. And like I always say, America, you matter. Take care of yourself. So I'm going to take care of myself. But other than that, I'm feeling great now.
And speaking of take care of yourself, we don't have Omega with us today. And whatever he's dealing with or whatever he's going through, I wish him the best. We'll see him in the next episode. But he's not going to be here with us today. And, so on the other hand, my week is really basically the same. Just trying to get through, just dealing with work, kind of getting lazy with it, just not getting my hours like I should. Stuff like that. So it is what it is. I deal with it. I man up. But yeah, it is what it is. Life happens. Life be lifing, like we said.
Right.
This episode, we're kind of gonna get into the climate of the U.S. as of right now. I know some things have happened that the climate is kind of like shifted in hardcore of like, this side versus this side, things that we like some health issues that may be not, I don't know, like it shouldn't be the way it is right now. Like it can probably really bring back some things that shouldn't have been probably brought back, that been eradicated for years.
You have to elaborate on that, man.
And we will. I got a very special guest that after the break that we're gonna have a call in with, and she's gonna talk about it.
Okay.
So when we come back from the break, we're gonna elaborate on just as that. So
yeah, let's get into that. You got me like, what the hell is he talking about?
Yeah, so let's
get into it.
So on that note, we will be back with a short break. Peace. All right, everybody, welcome back from the break. Like I said, there with some health issues recently, there has been certain things that's been taken away Florida recently lifted their mandates on their vaccines, and they're the dangerous of vaccine deniers. With that being said, I got a very special guest. I would like to consider our medical correspondent, my mom.
Yay, mama.
So, welcome to the podcast, Mom.
Hello.
Before we start off, I just want to let people know, what, the titles you have, because they're very important.
Okay, so I have a bachelor's in science of nursing. I have a master's in hospital administration, and I'm a clinical nursing instructor.
So,
She's well versed in the topic.
yes,
Yeah.
she is very knowledgeable. And then for those that don't know, if you didn't check out the last episode with me and my brother-in-law, where we gotten onto some nerdy stuff, she's basically like that on the medical level. So, other than that, so Mom, I gotta ask you, what would be the issue of them lifting their, Florida lifting their mandate for vaccines for school, to get into school, public schools and stuff like that?
Okay, so first of all, and anything that I say is based on my study, my research, my opinion. So it's just what I have done research on, and then what I know as a nurse and a mom. So we have a lot of disease processes, namely polio, measles, whooping cough. Those kind of things were completely eradicated at one point. We never thought we would see measles again. We never thought we would see whooping cough again. That is because school-age children were required to get vaccines prior to entering school. So I got them. You and Richard got them. Everybody I know got them. In fact, when I was in school a long time ago, question mark, they didn't even ask permission, as far as I know. The health department nurse just came to school. Everybody rolled up their sleeve, and they got their vaccinations. It didn't hurt anyone. So, but those diseases were completely eradicated. So the point is, if somebody doesn't want to vaccinate their children, they completely have that right. People will say religious differences. I don't know that there's anywhere in the Bible that says not to give vaccinations, but I'm not a theologian, so it could be there, and I just don't know. I study a lot, I know a lot, but I'm not a theologian. So my point is, you're okay if you don't want to vaccinate your children. It's completely within your right. But they should also not be allowed to attend public school. People who go to a private school where they pay a crap ton to send them there, totally fine. People that homeschool their children, totally fine. But when you make that decision for your children, you are making that same decision for everyone else's children. And you're exposing a lot of people, especially if you're a traveler. You go overseas, you come back, they've contracted something that they didn't know, and you give it to you. And then before we know it, we have an epidemic.
Kind of
So
like
people are
COVID.
totally within their right, as far as I'm concerned. But you have to consider others.
And I think
So-
that's where the biggest problem with today is people are not really considerate of other people and other people's children. You know what I mean? It's kind of one of those things of if your child even if you are a vaccine denier or whatever it is, and like your kid got it from somebody else, like, do you think that they would be like equally as mad, or do you think we'll be like, well, that it is what it is, or that was in God's hands, or whatever? Like, what do y'all think?
My issue with I mean, I kind of agree with what your mom says on as far as the
ability to go or not.
Yeah,
to go to the
no,
school.
not as far as that, but like as far as like if your kid come to the school and vaccinated, the susceptibility you give to the other children as far as like catching something. But at the same time, I kind of like disagree with it, just because of the fact that it's not the kid's choice to not get vaccinated, it's the parents. So then you're taking that child's like ability to learn in the capacity of with other peers.
Well,
away from them.
but some things are explained, like, because like there's certain things that like even when I was growing up, and Mom, you can contest for this, that there's certain things that you can get that is that they used to be like, well, your cousin got chicken pox or whatever, like chicken pox or poison ivy or whatever that you can't get twice or whatever.
Chicken pox.
Yeah,
Yeah.
chicken pox. They were like, oh, well, let's go to your cousin's house and we will all get chicken pox at the same time, and then we wouldn't have to worry about it.
See, and I'm the same
We
person.
did that, and it's not really the smart thing to do, but we did it growing up, and it's because then we developed herd immunity within
Yeah.
our own little community. Like when one had it, we all had it. We were all doctored at the same time. We all got over it at the same time. Boom, on with your life. Instead of this person got it, so then next week this person will have it, then next week this person will have it. We just all had it at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing, because that's the one thing they try to push with COVID was the herd immunity, and it lasted for a little bit, but it didn't stick like chicken pox. Like, and some of those viruses that's coming back that was eradicated, they were ones that were deadly.
Yeah, measles can be deadly. Polio can cripple someone for life. Whooping cough can be deadly, but not really, but it can be. I mean, but these are things that were completely gone, completely not heard of anymore. And then boom, they're back because somebody decided. Now, I will say, some of the reasons for not vaccinating is because of false information.
Right.
So years ago, there was a study that said vaccines can cause autism. Well, had they researched further, that was a big fat lie. And so that person was taken to court and made to retract that statement because they made it falsely and they made it without the proper research.
Was that a Scientologist?
So they had to retract it. They had to retract that. But people hear the autism, but they don't hear the retraction that was made on that person. They actually lost their medical license because they made false information
Right.
without the proper research. And trust me, research takes a while. I had to do a research for my master's program that took 3 years. So research takes a long time. And you have to be very diligent in what you're putting out there, because you're putting it out. If you put it out to medical professionals, they know what to take into consideration. But when you release it to the public, you've got people with no medical knowledge who just hear it and believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you have some type of medical credentials and they take it as face value. You know what I mean? Like, you're not really looking at the facts of like, well, this has been dealt with for a long time. Oh, but now it's coming back type situation. You know what I mean? Like it like you get, and a lot of it is a lot of people's getting their news off of like social media and stuff like that kind of like there's some things that I looked at on social media. I'm like, that can't be true.
I just see us going to the point like with China where they walk around in public with masks on all the time because of pollution. It's just going to be because of disease.
Yeah.
Right. And, you know, we shouldn't have to do that because we could have had these diseases gone.
Yeah.
And things come out on, you know, when I was doing research in like high school, I'm not going to tell you when that was, but it was a long time ago. We had to go to the library and we had to search journals and we had to search through the card catalog.
Yeah.
And we had to do
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
I'm
Now,
right there with you.
now, you know, Chat GPT, TikTok, which are not credible resources, by the way.
Right.
But people just get on that kind of thing. And I mean, I had Chat GPT redecorating my kitchen, and it's good for that. But you cannot ask medical information and expect to get good, credible information from Chat GPT
Right.
or from TikTok or any of those things. And all it takes is one person posting something, and the whole world is in a panic.
A whole viral
You know,
moment.
and that's the downfall. I'm all about social media. Trust me, I love social media. I should not, but I do. But there's certain information that you cannot get from social media,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
and good medical advice is one of those things.
And it's crazy because we live in a world now where everybody gets everything from social media.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not even just social media. I mean, you got people arguing with doctors and like nurses and stuff, like sitting there telling them that what they read off of WebMD.
Yeah.
Right. You know, I had a patient today that her family was looking stuff up and then asking me questions, and the questions made no sense.
Right.
But I answered them the best I could. But I didn't want to say, this says, I don't know what you're looking up, but it makes no sense.
I would have been like, put the damn phone down.
Right.
You know, and
That's crazy to me because to me, some of that is, believe it or not, to me is sometimes is a part of, and the term I'm gonna use it loosely is accountability. For example, let's just say like you said that doctor said that vaccinations cause autism, right? And then he had to
Right.
retract that, and then all the people heard was this one doctor say that out of all of these years of taking the vaccination, and then all of a sudden it takes one person, right? Just one person to
ruin
say it.
it.
It's like they were sitting back waiting for that to happen, because sometimes when parents have a child and they come with some type of medical issue, it's hard for them to accept that it came from their DNA. Like, it couldn't be me. I was healthy. I ran track. I played sports. There was nothing. There's never been any type of hereditary issues in my family. And so you just
And
have
then
to
here
accept
comes,
that.
yeah.
You have to accept that,
Right.
you might have passed something on to your child, no matter how healthy you are,
And
or
then here
your whole
comes this
family.
doctor
Right.
places,
Yeah,
giving
and
you a reason to place blame on something.
Right,
that's
other
not
than just
accurate.
saying it had to be me or my lineage, my loins, and so I think sometimes that may go into it as well. What do you think?
well, so that's another thing I want to get into. So autism is a genetic factor.
Right.
It's not based on what you give somebody or what you do. The only way you can do that is if you change their DNA before they're born.
And they have
So
to
it's
own
not- so-
that.
It is
So it's not caused by
It is a-
Tylenol or acetaminophen.
Exactly. So they have to own that.
So getting into that discussion, there is a current study going on at Harvard, but it's not been published. It has not been, somebody got a hold of that research. But keep in mind, Harvard, Yale, all these big universities UK are constantly doing research.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that it's true or not true. Sometimes they start research for one thing and they end up finding something else. So they're constantly doing research because we have a lot of things. We have cancer, we have diabetes, we have a lot of things that need research done on not how to medicate them, but how to get rid of them.
Right.
So autism is a DNA thing, and it's a hiccup in the DNA when you're born. I don't want to say hiccup because that sounds very unimportant, and it's not true. But
the metaphor is very spot on.
Yeah.
So it's a genetic mutation,
Right.
okay, of the chromosomes.
Okay.
So that is not caused by a medication. It can be. So okay, so if you're pregnant and you need to take some medications. First of all, if you're pregnant, you shouldn't take any medications unless it's absolutely necessary. But there are medications that cross the placenta, meaning that they pose a danger to the child, to the unborn child, because they get into the placenta. There are medications that don't cross the placenta, meaning that baby has no effect from this medication. Tylenol does cross the placenta, but in very small amounts, and it does not. It's probably one of the safest things a pregnant woman can take, because if you're having pain or if you're having a fever, so if you're a pregnant mom and you've got a fever and you don't take Tylenol, that fever can lead to bigger things. It could lead to an infection of which you need an antibiotic. You don't really want to take antibiotics unless it's necessary. So you might have bigger issues if you don't take the Tylenol. So, for a fever, for a fever or for pain, Tylenol is probably the safest thing you can take, but in moderation. Everything is in moderation.
No.
So, and like I said, you shouldn't take any medication unless it's absolutely necessary.
Gotcha.
But in those instances, if you don't take them, you could have much worse problems.
Exactly. And I mean, it's kind of just one of those things, like, if you have any questions, that's what the doctor is there for, or
and this research that was that's being researched by Harvard, and I don't know how it got out, but there's been nothing published yet. Now, I can find it in medical journals because it's a medical journal. It's a medical thing. So I can find it in the Harvard School of Medicine. But nothing has been released. So somebody got wind of it, and boom. And so now they've got all these pregnant moms scared. They've got people thinking, oh, does my kid have autism because of Tylenol? No. The answer to that is a big fat no.
Yeah. I mean, it's like
because you did not change your DNA mutation by a couple of Tylenol.
Yeah, and it's like I said, like unless a great RN like you are, just saying, not tune your own horn, none, but an RN like you, or that actually like knows and does research on medicines and like stuff like that, and or their actual doctor, like, talk to them, ask them these questions. Like, the one thing that you always brought me up on was the only dumb question that's asked is that doesn't get asked.
The one that's not asked, right?
Right.
And the thing about it is, if you have questions about things that are medical, look up credible sources. Don't do it on TikTok, or don't do it on social media, or don't put the question out there and then have other dumb people answer it.
Right.
Use credible resources. We have plenty of access to credible medical journals.
Right.
And everything should come from a credible medical journal. The Academy of Medicine, the Association of Nursing, Harvard, Yale, Cleveland Clinic. There are plenty of credible resources that can be looked up, not TikTok, not WebMD for sure.
Right. TikTok basically is going on there and trusting the word of mouth of someone else that not of their credentials at all.
Yeah.
And just because they sound smart.
And this is why we have somebody like you is to bring us that incredible information. somebody, because about one thing about this channel and one thing about our podcast is we don't want to spread misinformation. We want to give people the right information. We want to feed them, whatever can help them out, and what, we're checking our sources, and we're checking, like people that we have on for this stuff, and,
such as yourself.
Yeah, and it like I said, we don't want to feed people misinformation. We're not about that. So,
right.
I appreciate you being on here talking to us.
Very insightful.
You know what I mean? Like I said, if there's any, like I said, this is the one person that I'll always go to, like, hey, this is going on, what should I do? So although it made it very hard to play sick when I was a kid, but
you couldn't do it.
Yes.
Wasn't very hard at all. You couldn't do it.
But with
I can't say he didn't try.
Right.
Of course, we all gonna be hard-headed. We all gonna.
I mean, get real. He did try very well, actually.
We gonna keep it real.
Yeah, we gonna keep it real. I'm not gonna lie. I did try.
Try to outsmart moms. Cut it out.
So, with that being said, thank you, Mom, for coming on, giving us information.
Yes, we appreciate you.
Yeah, we appreciate you very much.
No problem.
Thank you.
Anytime. If you've got any questions, I'm always glad to answer them.
All right.
But right now, I'm going downstairs because my grandbaby just came in the door.
Hey, well, tell him I said hi, and
she's gonna clock back in.
I love y'all, and this is Mama D-Lo signing out. So we'll be back,
all right,
and we'll talk about the rest of it. So thank you, Mom. Love you.
Take care.
No problem. Love you too. All right. Bye.
Later.
Bye.
All right, everybody. Welcome back from the break. So the rest of the episode is basically just going to be like I said, it's the climate of the U.S., man. Like, can we come back from where we're at right now? Like what's going on? You got too many people saying, well, it's the left side, it's the right side, it's the radical left, it's the radical right. And we're not going to dive into too much because I don't want nobody find nobody's jobs, getting them fired, nothing like that. So we're not going to dive into I'm just going to dub it down to the CK incident.
Yeah, we're calling Calvin Klein.
Yeah, we're not going to do all that.
Oh, Calvin Klein.
But I mean, it does raise the bigger question on, well, what really is like freedom of speech, all that type of stuff, like coming, actually sitting at the table, having a grown-up conversation about, I got this information, you got this information, it
ain't gonna happen, man.
When did that not become a thing? I remember
number 47, man, you already know what it is. I remember we used to come, everybody had the voice to where we can come to the table with our conversations. If you can change my mind, you can change my mind. If not, then we can agree to disagree. And
I'm gonna say this one thing, and I'm gonna say this, and this is my opinion. Nobody else's on this podcast has this opinion, and this is in regards to Charlie Kirk. I do not think that it was okay what happened to him. I am truly sorry to his family. However, he got it how he lived. He gave it the way he got it.
Yeah, he got it the way he got it.
He spoke reckless. Something reckless happened.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I hate that that's how it happened. But at the same time, he was...
And yeah, I mean, it is what it is, and it is it is sad for his family or whatever, but I'm not gonna sit there and put him in the same breath as a Martin Luther King or Malcolm
I don't think
X,
anybody should be killed. But at the same time, the way he was talking, it's you're provoking it.
Yeah.
Even if you don't think that you are, if you got to think of if you're on the other side of that fence, if you're on the other side of that table that you're sitting on, and look at how they think, and then you have to go out there and speak based off of that, and not just based off of what you want your people or you want people to grasp from you. You can't just go after one particular person or group of people. You have to think of what these other people are going to perceive you as, because you might be preaching what these people want to hear, but over here you preaching what these people see as a direct threat.
Right.
Well, I agree with you. I mean, just take a look. Since his unaliving, I felt like he was weaponizing the country by raising young conservatives with a certain point of view. And now just take a look at those two young men that went to that HBCU, Tennessee State, and trying to be a little Charlie Kirk. They had their MAGA hat on and had the little table set up. They wanted to have a one-on-one, and they had little signs that saying DEI is illegal and all of that. That's him. That's him, and he, that's what he wanted. He wanted like-minded young men and women, And so, like Javi said, the people may not see it that way, but to me, he was weaponizing because the HBCUs had nothing to do with him, and so, I'm going to piggyback off that. But back to what you were saying, there is no sitting at the table because they don't want us. He doesn't want to sit at the table. He doesn't want to sit at the table. Our POTUS, he does not want to sit at the table. So, we're past that. We're past that. We're pretty much accepting what is, and we have to fight at every corner for what he tries to take away. And then on top of that, there's when he signs these executive orders, we have to live with it. And so and we're used to that. We're used to that anyway. And so, like I said, him cutting funds to HBCUs. Okay, the HBCUs were created because our people were not allowed to go to schools with the Caucasian race. So let's call it what it was. So that's what they were created for. So when we wasn't able to go, we figured it out. When we wasn't allowed to go to certain restaurants, we figured it out. When they thought stuff was being taken away from us, we figured it out. And so this is just another one of those things and that's why I think we're never going to be able to sit down at the table, because they don't want us at the table. The people that represent us, the people in government that represent us, they don't want them at the table. Yeah. They don't want us there. They don't want representation for us there. So we just gonna figure it out, and that's all we can do. And we have to let this, and we have to trust in the judicial system. When some of this stuff tries to get passed, we have to take it to the federal. He's got them in his pocket now. The Supreme Court justice. He's got now he's got them because that's why he put them in place. But that's my answer to that. We're never going to be able to come to the table because they don't want us there. They want to be better than the people that represent us. They want to be better. He can say what
we're going to have to throw the table out and take it to the field.
Yeah, because what did he say? He said it when CK's wife got up there. She said, "I forgive the person that killed him." And he said, "I don't. I hate them. I hate the other side. I don't like them at all." That tells you right there. He does not want
anybody that thinks different than him.
Right, because he doesn't want to be equal. And the sad part about it is he knows he's lying. He doesn't believe in what he's spewing. He just knows how this country thinks. He's already said it. I can tell them anything and they're going to believe it because they're dumb. He called them dumb. Them dumb. We heard it. And so there's just no sitting at the table with people that think that have a mindset that people unlike them are taking something from them. They believe that jobs were taken from them.
So with that being said, let's take a little into a future aspect of when him and we'll say like-minded individuals that get voted out, because it's going to happen, because it's literally been a shit show. Do you think that we can come back? to the way, like, do you think we can come back to the table? Do you think that people with different minded opinions can come back to the table?
I think if the right person was in office,
Yeah. Everybody doesn't believe in what number 47 speaks, but they're scared of him.
Yeah.
They're scared of him because you see the ones that jump ship, he'll turn on the ones that don't. I mean, you see Mike Pence, you see what he did to Mike Pence. Once Mike Pence was like, no, this was a fair election.
Yeah.
He turned on him. And so, it would take somebody like that saw through his rhetoric after a while. Once it was like, oh gosh, I'm glad this is over. Fauci, he left. Or is it Fauci or Fauci? Fauci. When he left, and then when 47 got out of there, he came back. Because there's a lot of people that just don't want to deal with that rhetoric. So it's possible, but I will say is that this country has been exposed. So it's not even about government anymore. It's about the people that the government is serving. They have come out in droves. I mean, all over social media. They're everywhere, and this is a safe haven for them to say how they truly feel.
Yeah.
And there's no coming back from that. There's no coming back from that from them. And so from that side. And so, of course, the government can sit at the table and both sides and figure this thing out. But what we now know to be true is that they're out there and they actually believe that they are the superior race and that everybody else is inferior to them, that things have been taken away. They're out, they're exposed. I mean, this is why I need a wellness day, because when I go on social, I'm looking for content to bring to my Let's Talk About It segment.
Yeah.
And I have to see so much hatred when my people did nothing to Charlie Kirk. Let me give you an example. So they're saying stuff like, when we had a vigil for Charlie Kirk, it was this. When we all came together in peace, but when they lose somebody, this is what happens. It talks about a riot, and like I said, we had nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
Why are y'all bringing that? Why are y'all bringing? And we weren't even rioting, and it's not even the same thing. Our fight is for injustice because a person of authority that's supposed to be sworn to protect us is taking our lives. That's what we're protesting. We're not, y'all don't have a purpose, a reason to protest, because the justice system did its job. They found the killer. For us, the killer is the person that's supposed to be serving us. So that's the difference. But my point is, before you say anything, my point is that's why I have to take a wellness day, because they're free to say that now. They feel like it's okay, and they don't hide it. They're going and posting that on their personal page. You can see some of the comments and stuff. Like I said, HBCUs got threatened, stuff like, I'm just saying, and it just gets overwhelming. It gets overwhelming to see this over and over and over and over again, just like the guys going on there talking about DEI is illegal. So who gives a damn? They took it away anyway. So why are you fighting for something that y'all already got? Y'all already got it, and y'all can't even leave us alone about it.
And that's the thing, though. And
so that's my thing. As far as going back to the table, yes, the administration's eventually, Trump is going to run his course. That's why he's trying to get, I didn't want to say his name, POTUS 47. That's why he's trying to change the amendment so he doesn't never have to leave office and never come back, because he wants to stay in there forever, because he knows he's got this country where he wants it eaten out of the palm of his hand. So once he leaves, and you don't get somebody like J.D. Vance in there, or somebody like-minded like Trump, because he's teaching them all how to talk out of the side of their neck, but he don't know, no pun intended, but all of them don't want to be that way. It's the people. It's the people. Even if they come back to the table, these people have these red states, these people that vote Republican, vote Trump Republican, they have exposed themselves. The way that they talk about us, and we have nothing to do with it. I mean, so that's the issue. That's the bigger question.
Yeah.
Will we as a people be able to come back and have them live in peace with us? Because we see you for who you are, and we don't care, because we've dealt with this all our lives. Like I said, we just find a way to coexist. And when we show that we're okay, it's still not enough. So can they deal with us once the tables come back together is the bigger question.
Yeah.
You feel me, Javi?
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, and that's basically where I'm getting to. Like,
Right people, right place.
Yeah.
Can after this, can we finally get to a point to where we can get back to the table and we have adult conversations with either agreeing or disagree? Agree to disagree. You know what I mean? Like,
We'll see.
And because that's the crazy thing. Because, like, you know, like, you didn't really hear, and with all the stuff that's happened on the Democratic side or the left side, on the stuff that's happened over there, and then it got big on, you know, the whole CK situation. On the right side, things happened that it got blown out of proportion. It got blown up. Like,
even before that.
Yeah, I mean, so even just recently, you know, you had the Democratic, Wisconsin Democratic House leader. Her and her husband got unalived at their home
in Minnesota.
In Minnesota.
Portland. It was Minnesota.
Minnesota. Okay, I thought Wisconsin. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Minnesota, and then you had Paul Pelosi, which is the husband of he
got not beat to death, but he got beat from an inch of his life.
Yeah, and then you had another Democratic Senate. Was it?
Well, in Michigan, the governor, the female in Michigan, they arrested a person that had planned
to kidnap her.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then you had another Democratic person that was unalived at their home.
Right.
And it just, but it, like all that, like it just got swept under the rug like it was nothing, or it was just like, oh well, it happened. Oh well,
No, it did not get swept under the rug. They said what they thought about it. Just like number 47 POTUS when that person got unalived and her husband in Minnesota. They asked, was he going to call the governor? And he said no. What for? He gave, and I'm not going to go into what he said, but it was very negative. It was very negative. And so he said, no, I'm not going to call him. I'm not going to wish condolences on him. Why bother? Whatever. No, it didn't get swept under the rug. They said what they had to say. It was just very inconsiderate. It was very inconsiderate, just like they tried to say that Pelosi's husband, they tried to associate the person that beat him with that hammer as Pelosi's lover.
Yeah.
You know, that she was having an affair with that man. That's crazy. I mean, and so, like I said, no, the stuff didn't get swept under the rug. They just said disingenuous things, and, it just wasn't raised as a big issue because of the administration that's in power now, and the people that there's so many of them that don't have to acknowledge. Of course, there were people saying, well, that's just mean and inconsiderate or whatever. But it's okay. It's okay. Yeah. So no, it didn't get swept under the rug. They said what they had to say, but when it's the other side, then they have more people to back them to say, see how they are? That's why we don't need them in charge of government.
Well, and when I say get swept under the rug, but like you said, like it was one of those things that they said what they had to say,
and it was no issue about it.
And it was no issue.
You didn't hear anything from ABC. You didn't hear from nothing from the FCC. You didn't hear nothing.
But now, with the other couple of things that's happened, with the assassination attempts on 47, CK thing happened, like that stuff, like it got drunk out. Like it was an ongoing thing, and it's still ongoing.
It's the following. That's why I say it's the people. the administration, they don't have to. They just have to say one or two things. The one or two things. It was the right. It had to be somebody from the right, a transgender, this, that, and they only have to say it once. They can say it before there's any proof, without any evidence, and this nation would pick it up and run with it. So it's not the administration, it's the people, because the people just go by whatever's said. I mean, of course, it's the administration should be more responsible than that. But as a grown-up, as an adult, we should have a sense enough to say, let's wait to see what happens. Yeah. Because there are so many people that just knew, that it was that guy was that unalived CK was somebody from the right, that all of these killings from the right, ain't nobody on the right killing. But anytime a situation happens, they just naturally say that without evidence. And the following is so huge that they can pick up a microphone and a camera phone and put it out there, and then you have a whole band of people from all over these states and cities get connected through social media, and there it is. And there it is. And so once again, it's the people, man. They are who they are, and they always was that. Because this is what I wanted to say, because you talk about how it used to be. We used to be able to agree to disagree. Well, that's because you had Democrats and you had Republicans, and of course during the campaigns there was some mudslinging. There was some mudslinging. This, it'd be something simple like, this person smoked weed while he was in college, so
this person got 3 baby mamas.
Something like that. But once the election was over, they shook hands and they went to work. They went to work and they said, okay, let's make this country better. Of course, they had different point of views, but there were some things that they could come together and agree on. Once the election once it was decided. So yes, that's the difference between today and yesterday. Today, there's none of that. And then it really took shape. When Obama got in there. When he got in there, oh Lord, the racism that came out and the lies and the things about this man. And then when he won, in fact, when he won a second time, there were more Republicans that voted for him a second time. Because of the rhetoric from the Republicans, like they don't know what they're talking about. We need somebody in power that can fight a better fight than who we have. So we better off with Obama. So there was a lot of Republicans that voted for Obama. Because if you remember the second time, it was all blue. Because that first time, they filibustered everything that he tried to do. Anything that he tried to do, they would no.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because I did a little history fact of myself, or for myself, and because I wondered how each election went for one side or the other. And since the two-party, there for a while, I think the Republican party was more dominant just because of the Abraham Lincoln effect, because he was the Republican for everybody, or he was the candidate for everybody. But at the same time, but when it came to later days, as far as like starting, I'd say with let's say JFK. Like, since then, you can see a trend of there will be a Republican in, like one Republican would be 1 year, and they would go 2 years with a Democrat, and then there'd be that one factor of a Republican going for both terms, and then it would be a Democrat for both terms. But it always comes out to where after a Republican, except for now, this is like the rare occasion of the Republican getting their seat back. That just it I don't know, man. Today's crazy, dude. It is
it's just who's in there. He's saying what the politicians were scared to say, and that's all I'm going to say about that, because, like I said, it's the writing's on the wall. It's not the administration. They're just following his lead. It's the people. The people come out. Even the congressmen's, the people on the committees. They're calling. That one chick got on there and called a ghetto black bitch. All of that stuff. I mean, they're just free to call to name drop, and it's just so. And so
they do a lot of that.
This is where we are. But like I said, they name drop to the people that have nothing to do with it. That you might have something to say about it. You might have a comment, but overall, the certain people on the right are just accepting what is, because everything is being taken. They removed, Black history from the Smithsonian. They taking away programs that they think benefit Black. They doing this, and they still angry. They still blaming us
for no reason.
And
we should be better.
Yeah, we should be better, but it is what it is. So I say, mate, I don't get it, really. It makes no sense at all. I mean, I like the old movie set. Always look on the bright side of life, all right?
It's to the point where politics give me a headache.
I know,
that was a good question.
They have to be talked about. It has to be talked about.
Yeah, that's why. But this is why back to my original point. This is why I said I need a wellness day, because when I'm sitting on my computer, man, it's just horrible, and I'm like, what the hell? We didn't do anything, but for some reason we keep getting thrown in the fold. They keep naming names of people that's uneducated, that this and that, this, and we had nothing to do with all these mass shootings. It's not us, but somehow we get pulled in. And so once again, I'm gonna say this one last time, and then we can wrap this up if you so choose. If you have something else, that's fine too, but it's not about us coming, the administration has been able to come to the table and sit down. Yes, I think that can happen, but it's going to take a lot for the future administrations to bring the people back together, because they do not want to sit at the table with us. They want us to sit at the back of the bus, because that's where they think we belong.
Yeah.
That's where Charlie Kirk said we belong. Charlie Kirk said that DEI stole qualified white people's jobs from them. He said that. He said it. And they followed suit. And that's why those young men got on there talking about DEI is illegal at a HBCU. Why would you go to a HBCU talking about DEI when it's a historically Black university? There's no DEI there. Plus, y'all took it away. So that's all I have to say about that.
And to wrap everything up, it's like Hobby said to begin with. For the ones who criticize and say, or the ones that say that, whatever rhetoric they want to say, I do feel bad for his family. He did get, he did say some radical things, that some radical things happen. But we all here for freedom of speech, and this is my opinion. We do a podcast. This is our opinion.
This is his personal opinion, but we all have our own separate opinions.
But I mean, and nobody deserves to get shot or whatever for their personal opinions, whatever. I don't know, man. I'm gonna wrap this up. Like,
you dragging it out, man. You drag it, spit it out, man. What you trying to tell us?
Honestly, it's really a hard topic, because I can't
I'm saying you feel like you feel like you got a lot to say.
Are you on the fence?
No, I'm not on the fence. I got a lot of things that my brain just
that's what I'm saying.
It's processing. I just can't really process it as far as put it into cohesive words to where it's just I can't. I just can't. So with that being said, we're gonna end this episode, man. And
that was a good question, though. That was a good question, man.
I want to.
Well, okay, all right. So I'm gonna give you 2 minutes before you wrap it up. Let me give you 2 minutes. because this is what we haven't done. So I answered the question. Javi answered the question. Do you think, because you haven't told us, if you think
Or how you feel.
that we can sit back down at the table and come together? We've said yes or whatever, but what barriers come with that? So what do you think? Because you proposed the question, so you've had time to think about this.
Okay. So
Give me 2 minutes. I'm giving you 2 minutes, bro.
okay. Right now. So all right. The thing that I think that we can come back to the table with is we all have to be able to agree to disagree.
Okay.
There can be no more. But this person isn't qualified to say this. This person isn't qualified to say that.
Okay.
If we're in a logical debate, we have our information. You have a chance to change somebody's mind or to agree to disagree.
Okay.
If we cannot do that, then we cannot come to the table as a country, and as a country, we will not survive.
There you go. Bravo. There you go. Fair enough.
We have
All right, people.
I know, right? So as a country, we cannot live in a world where we're looking at the outside terrorism and not looking at the inside terrorism, as far as they're trying to classify Antifa as a terrorism group, when we still haven't recognized as the KKK, Proud Boys, or none of that as a domestic terrorism group. We will not survive. We have to come together and we have to talk about it. And we have to talk about it, or we can agree to disagree and be done with it and move on with our lives. Because no matter what's going on, that's not going to change my money. That's not going to change my life if I agree to disagree.
Right. So we should be able to agree to disagree and not have to pay any consequences for that.
Exactly.
Okay, fair enough.
With that being said, this is the Run It Back podcast crew with Cha-Cha.
What up?
Hobby.
Hello.
Unfortunately, we're missing Omega Green today.
He'll be back.
All prayers with you, bro. Right now, he will be back. Don't get it twisted. And I'm your boy D-Lo, and we out.
All right.
Peace.
Deuces.